Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Nine. Sim, thank you so much for the support. Hope you are good. So I came across this video where this man was on live podcast saying that this is not what he voted for. And Andrew Schulz, I am going to ask you, what did you vote for? What did you in particular vote for? Now, let me tell you something. Andrew Schulz saying that he never knew he was going to do all these things tells you how these people are not politically smart. Because if you are smart, you absolutely would know that all these things were going to happen, because Project 2025 was also a manual. He gave you people manual. He told you and he gave you manual to read. And you all still failed. Now, the problem these people are having is that they feel that nothing affects them. They feel like things don't get to them. Maybe it might get to them, but at the last time, or they will be at the last layer and all that. But this particular one started whooping their ass back to back. Now, the Medicaid they caught, actually, you know, one thing I have learned about these people, they keep telling that black people are the ones that benefit on everything. Like they are the ones, anything that got to do with something people benefit from, it is all on black people. Now, I am going to ask, how many people are in United States? You will see the numbers of people that are in United States. How can black people overpower the majority people that are in United States to benefit more than them? This is something you need to ask yourself. But I think they are living in denial. But their eyes are their friends today, and they are experiencing it in a huge way. I love it. Let's get into this video.
DM me, be like, you see what your boy's doing? You voted for this. I'm like, I voted for none of this. He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for. Yeah. I want him to stop the wars. He's funding them. I want him to shrink spending, reduce the budget. He's increasing it. It's like everything that he said he's going to do, except sending immigrants back. And now he's even flip-flopped on that, which I kind of like. But he's like, oh, well, we kind of need the people working in restaurants, and we need our farmers. It's like everything that he said that he was going to do that he campaigned
Well, he said
really
to
hard
us,
on.
which was important, and I thought it was good. He pressed him on it. Well, you got to start with the criminals in terms of deporting. I don't even know if the criminals are getting sent back. I know there's a lot of people with green cards getting sent back. There's people who aren't criminals getting sent back. I don't know if you're sending back the criminals first. You're definitely not doing it first. I don't know if you're sending them back at all. So nothing has happened.
And you were more optimistic than I was, because I judge him by his first four, and it was Mr. Drain the Swamp, Mr. Build the Wall, he didn't do a lot of the stuff he promised in the first four, so why would anything be different?
I already expect politicians to not do most of the shit they say. Mm-hmm. And now,
I don't know why everybody keep DMing me talking about something. There go your boy. I didn't vote for this. You think just because I did ads and had him on the podcast and made it known that I was going to vote for him with my millions of followers, I was endorsing this? This isn't what I voted for. He lied to me just like he lied to y'all. Why y'all keep saying he doing exactly what he said he was going to do in Project 2025? That's not what I signed up for, okay? I didn't do the research in Project 2025. This wasn't what I asked him to do. I was cool with the racism and the sexism and all of that. But the war and the prices, that's where I must draw the line. Bro, I'm a victim just like y'all. He lied to us, okay? Minority people whose checks I signed, co-sign me right now. Just because I look like that one Nazi guy doesn't mean I co-sign these Nazi rhetorics, okay? I don't really care about the whole immigrants getting sent away. This is making me look bad, okay? Just because I voted for this doesn't mean that I voted for this, okay?
I didn't vote for this. He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for, Andrew Schulz. Come on, buddy. You don't get to pretend that. You don't get to pretend that you didn't vote for this when you platformed it, endorsed it, and read Blue Chew ads during it, buddy. You don't get to pretend you didn't know this was going to happen when you already lived through this once before, pal. Buddy, old boy, I know that you like to pretend that you're 24 years old because that's the way you dress. That's the way you smooth the Just for Men in there. That's the way the kids have told you that your Stolen Valor Mall security guard sits perfectly on your top lip. That's the way your t-shirts would look on a model who should actually be on Love Island, because that is made for 24-year-olds, but you're 42 years old, buddy. When all of your fans, when all of your listeners were sitting at Zoom prom back in 2020, you were in your mid-30s. And now here you are, mid and 42, surrounded by the consequences of all of your actions because you looked at Donald Trump coming onto your platform and talking to your audience as just another brand deal, didn't you, buddy? You said to all of your advertisers, in your own words from your own website, that your audience trusts you. And they did. And they listened to you. And now they're starting to look around at the consequences of their choices that you pushed them towards, and they're starting to notice it's pretty bad. Those employees that sit next to you that you pay to laugh at your shitty jokes that sound really odd when you realize that they're coming from a man in his mid-40s, those employees, they're worrying about their family members, whether or not masked ICE agents are going to knock up on their door and ask where their documents are. And you have to just sit there and keep pretending you had no idea that this was going to happen, even though you're Andrew Schulz. You're the smartest comedian ever. You're a stand-up philosopher with so much experience, and you keep up on the news, and not now. Now I'm just a little boy, aren't you, Andy? You're just a little boy, and you know nothing about anything. You know nothing, like Sergeant Schulz, and I know you understand that reference because you're an old guy who's a boring dork.
Do not fall for the MAGA rebranders.
People that they'll DM me and be like, you see what your boy doing? You voted for this. I'm like, I voted for none of this. He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for. Yeah. I want him to stop the wars. He's funding them. I want him to shrink spending, reduce the budget.
People like Schulz, people like Joe Rogan are trying to do a soft rebrand where they're trying to step away from their involvement in the MAGA movement. No. They don't get to absolve themselves of what they voted for, of what they encourage. They voted for this. They need to stand on business and stand by all of the decisions, all of the fuck shit that he's been doing. I didn't know he was going to do this. He said exactly what the fuck he was going to do. And if you were too stupid not to pay attention, that's on you. But that doesn't get to let you walk away from this shit. People like them, people like Candace Owens and countless others, we're going to see them over the next few years try to move away from the MAGA movement and try to claim at some point, oh no, I never supported Donald Trump. I was never involved in any of the fuck shit that he did. No, you guys did this shit. You guys just are too fucking soft and have no actual morals or convictions that you can stand on. But no, you guys voted exactly for this shit. And I don't want to hear any sort of rewriting of history.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got another one. We got another alpha bro. Another individual who platformed, endorsed, put their full weight behind this regime. Now trying to speak as if they did not understand what they were supporting. This supposed revelation has been happening with Andrew Schulz and the people on his show. He's gone viral over the last 2 days for speaking about how this was not what he voted for, how it feels like they were duped, how they feel stupid, that everything that they thought the taco was going to do in the Oval Office, he's doing the opposite. It's funny, it's almost like he's been the president before and he behaved this way before. This is not about these these bros getting duped, okay? They chose to put their weight behind this because they thought nothing was going to go wrong, especially with them. You see, everybody looked at what he did last presidency, especially these podcast bros, and they thought, it wasn't that bad. Worst case scenario, we're going to get 4 more years of some entertainment. And ultimately, we don't have the security within ourselves. We don't have the self-confidence to say that we don't feel threatened if a black woman were to be president. The truth is, they did not want to live in a country where a woman was president because it went against their idea of manhood. A lot of men in this country think like this. A lot of men in this country voted like this. And now that this man has shown himself to be an absolute monster, they want to walk it back and act like, oh no, I was only voting for certain policies and hoping that that's BS. This man has never had any policies. This man has never had any policies, platform, any goals besides winning an election and then allowing his cronies to run wild. Now the podcasters are upset because their vote has put egg on their face. Their vote is what led to a modern day Gestapo running around this country. Their vote is what led to millions of people having their health care taken away. Their vote. A lot of people are learning in real time that voting has consequences. They didn't think voting had consequences before. You're seeing it now.
Give me back. You see what your boy's doing? You voted for this. I'm like, I voted for none of this. He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for. Yeah. I want him to stop the wars. He's funding them. I want him to shrink spending, reduce the budget. He's increasing it. It's like everything that he said he's going to do, except sending immigrants back. And now he's even flip-flopped on that.
Imagine having the level 20 bullshit in your head of telling people that you have no responsibility for the way you voted because you didn't know better. It's like a mixture of gaslighting and stupidity rolled up into one gigantic ball of trash. And it breaks my heart because I went to see Andrew Schulz at the fucking comedy club in Denver. I enjoy his comedy, but now he's turned into the goddamn joke like many of these fucking comedians and artists who voted for him and now are claiming that they didn't know better. Bro, you voted for a liar and a con man. Donald Trump has been lying for the last fucking 40 years to everybody. You ask any fucking average New Yorker who knows him and knows the way he does business, and anybody will tell you in New York that he's a con artist. But some of you, it's like you pretend that you didn't know, but you really didn't know. It's that you looked the other way. You ignored it because you were either rich enough or successful enough or white enough that it didn't affect you. So you said, fuck it. And the worst part is that now these motherfuckers are in our farms and places of work where these immigrants are contributing to the economy. And those are the people that they're going to go get. Your friends. I know personally that Andrew Schulz has friends that are immigrants, probably undocumented. And you signed off on these people destroying your friends and your loved ones and the people that you know. All of their lives are brought into a world of shit right now because of people like you that were selfish and cared about you and no one else. People that are working the fields. He told you that he was going to deport criminals, and I told you back in fucking October last year that he didn't care that for them. We are all the same fucking people. These racist assholes from the Republican Party don't give a shit. Good thing I went there.
Give me back. You see what your boy's doing? You voted for this. I'm like, I voted for none of it.
See, now there are other creators out here that are clowning you. And I'm not going to clown you. I mean, also know you'll never see this, but I'm not going to clown you because at one time I actually was a fan. And I did listen. And I had a small amount of respect because what you would do is a subversive way of acting the idiot and using your hypocrisy to point out the actual fault. And then it changed from that to just you kissing the side of the right. And I don't think you voted for this. I don't. I'm not going to say that you voted for this. But what I will say is when you voted for him, you knew the type of person that he was. And you knew the things that he was capable of. And you knew that he shouldn't be president. I think that's the point. Regardless of if you voted for this or not, the point is you knew he should not be president. And you knew that choosing him over Kamala was literally doing something for all the wrong reasons. I'm glad you're coming to your senses. Maybe eventually I'll listen to your podcast again because I truly did enjoy it. And it's ironic because I don't like sports at all, but I did enjoy parts of the podcast until I started to actually get in touch with reality and just human decency. And then I said, nah, I'm good. But again, thanks for finally coming to your senses.
I'm not surprised that MAGA voters fell for it again. MAGA influencer Andrew Schulz went on his show yesterday and talked about how he voted for none of this. Check out this clip.
They'll DM me like, you see what your boy's doing? You voted for this. I'm like, I voted for none of this. He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for. Yeah. I want him to stop the wars. He's funding them. I want him to shrink spending, reduce the budget. He's increasing it. It's like everything that he said he's going to do, except sending immigrants back.
Quickly, make sure you like this video and follow our account for more news and politics posts in the future. So you're trying to tell me that you are shocked that Donald Trump lied about what he was going to do? No, but seriously, you believe that Donald Trump was telling you the truth? Come on, man. Are we serious right now? Like, you have to be a special kind of stupid to believe that Donald Trump actually wants to help people. What in this man's history would lead you to believe that he wants to help people? I'm serious. Like, what is it? Like, point to the time in your life that you saw Donald Trump do something and you're like, that's Donald Trump trying to help the average person. This is why I can't take these people seriously, man. I mean, the guy's a billionaire with like 6 bankruptcies on his head. All he's ever done is like not pay people that work for him, destroy basically anyone who's ever challenged him. He's only real accomplishment from the last time he was in office was the fact that he got his tax breaks done for himself and his billionaire friend. He goes around the world making deals with autocrats if they will do business deals with him in his country, in their countries. When he brings people to America, he forces them to stay in his hotel so he can make money off of it. Look, Andrew Schulz is a millionaire. He had plenty of resources and plenty of time to do his research before Donald Trump came onto his show. It would have taken less than 10 minutes to come to the determination that Donald Trump is not somebody you should be telling your giant fan base, to which I don't know why he has a giant fan base, but he does, that you shouldn't vote for Donald Trump. It wouldn't have taken that much time or effort. This bro podcast sphere is such a giant problem. And I know that maybe some people think that, the answer to this is just that we should just take microphones away from men. They shouldn't have podcasts. I think it's actually the opposite. I think we need to flood the zone with better information from people who actually have a brain, and having the people of this country getting taught real information versus this fake shit that's being perpetuated by these morons who shouldn't have the audiences they have. I should have just added this as the next installment of this is why you can bully MAGA voters, because oh my God, some of these people they're just so stupid. I can't get over it. I mean, again, what made you believe that Donald Trump ever wanted to help people?
Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Real quick, my name is Christian. I'm trying something a little bit different today. I'm a comedian. I usually, on my accounts, post stand-up clips or comedy skits, because that's usually what I like to dabble in for content. But this is a little different. This is going to be more of a conversation / rant / reaction. I have no idea how people are going to respond to this. It's going to be a little bit longer. I don't know if this will get views. It may be a little bit controversial, but it is something I felt strongly about wanting to put out into the world and just try to do something a little bit different. So the topic I want to talk about today, with me being a comedian and someone who dabbles in comedy, especially online, I think this speaks to that topic of comedy, and just also a little bit to the larger world itself. So I'm going to talk about Andrew Schulz. Recently, I think today actually, a clip came out from one of his recent podcasts where he kind of denounces Trump, or not, I don't want to say fully denounce, he just kind of scrubs himself of accountability in terms of voting for Trump and platforming Trump and pushing for his politics. I guess people were in his comments saying, hey, this is what you voted for, how do you feel? And Andrew Schulz then responds by saying, this actually is not what I voted for. I didn't vote for war. I thought Trump would not stop war, but stop the war. I didn't vote for increased budget. I thought Trump would slash the budget, etc., etc. It's a really quick 20-second clip. Probably will be circling around. You may come across it, or you can look it up easily. I want to speak on that. I thought that was very weak, and I think to scrub yourself of accountability when you yourself, Andrew Schulz, are participating in new media is lame. It's whack. And it's something that I think we need to talk about in terms of media is changing. How we consume media and get our information is changing at a rapid pace. A lot of us are straying from legacy media, the Fox Newses, the MSNBCs, the CNNs, etc., etc. And a lot of us are now getting information from our favorite podcasters. And I think that's just a little bit dangerous, because we have to remember that no matter how much you may like a Andrew Schulz or Joe Rogan, these people are entertainers. And they're now starting to dabble more in political content. A lot of comedians have found themselves leaning more conservative and right wing, especially with the whole post Me Too movement, post people having issues with what we say as comedians and freedom of speech. So a lot of comedians have been finding themselves drawing more towards right wing stuff, right wing activities, and a lot of them, Andrew Schulz included, Joe Rogan included, were platforming Trump, brought him on for interviews, telling their people this is who we think you should vote for, etc., etc. And now that we are 6 months into this new presidency, I'm seeing a lot, and even like the same with like Elon Musk, like we're seeing a lot more people wanting to fall back, scrub their hands of the role that they played in this, and I don't like that. I think, and that's just the danger I feel like with new media, is that like I feel like there's a level of accountability that comes when you want to enter into the space of politics. This stuff does affect real people's lives. We're getting more money being spent on ICE funding. We've gotten the slashing and cuts of federal programs. People have lost their jobs because of that. We're having immigrants left and right being detained and escorted out of this country. No matter how you may feel about that or not, there is a human element to that in terms of, hey, are we actually properly gathering people who are not criminals and are criminals? How are we separating these? There's a lot that we don't know, and there's a lot of like moral questions about how we're going about it. And no matter how you want to look at it, like people like Andrew Schulz played a role in creating this current reality for America. We're only 6 months in. I can't speak on how things are going to go over the next 4 years, where we'll be at. Will this big, beautiful bill be something positive for America or negative? I can't speak on that. I'm not a political analyst. There's still a lot I don't know. But what I can speak on is that like 6 months in, people are being affected. And that is the seriousness and the danger that comes with how we go about political media and how we go when we enter into these spaces. Like, you just can't be, oh, I don't like Kamala and Trump's kind of cool, so I'm gonna platform Trump. There's things that come with that, and there's repercussions, and now we are dealing with the whole fallout of everything. The presence in the Middle East, war on our streets in terms of ICE going raiding immigrants and stuff like that. Like I said, the slashing of budgets and federal programs, stuff like that. So there's a lot that happens post once we platform someone. I'm not here to necessarily say things would have been better with Kamala. I don't know how that would have been, but we're in the now, and I don't like people who were actively participating in building this reality try to absolve themselves from the role that they played in it. And I just think, like, as we enter this new space, because things have changed, this is how we consume media now. A lot of us, we want to listen to our favorite podcasters, but us as consumers, let's remember to be careful, cautious how we take our information. At the end of the day, Andrew Schulz is just a comedian. And just because he has an opinion doesn't mean you, the consumer of his content, needs to follow it blindly. If you want to participate, really participate, actually get the information yourself, dive deep. You know what I'm saying? Don't just listen to the opinion of one, listen to the opinion of many, and then look inward and decide what best suits you. I'm not here to condemn you if you listen to Andrew Schulz, back to Trump and his stuff. I'm not here to say, oh, we told you so, but I am here to say that like there are repercussions for all of this, and political decisions like really do affect people's lives. And I do believe at the end of the day we should be trying to make decisions that work for all of us and not just a few and some. So that's just my thoughts on everything. Let's just be careful in terms of the people we listen to, and just and let's also hold people accountable. Like, if people want to get involved in these spaces, we need to remind them that there's seriousness that comes with all of it. You can't just get to be out here, platform someone, and then just be like, oh, he didn't do what I thought, so tough titties. Nah, that's not how the game works. This shit is real. We're all like trying to be actively better, and we need to be remembering that we're all sharing this country together, and we need to try to make it work for us all. So that's my thoughts. Once again, I'm Christian. I'm trying something different. Long video. We at 7:30 minutes. I don't know how motherfuckers gonna respond, but I just felt the need to put that out there. React to it how you will. Till next time.
Okay, so Andrew Schulz is a famous comedian and podcaster, right? And he's not explicitly political, but his audience leans to the right, and clearly him and his guests lean to the right in general, right? But in an unforeseen twist, Andrew Schulz has gotten onto a show and said, I'm just really not digging this Trump stuff anymore. Like, I voted for him to stop wars and he's starting them. And I didn't want to cut Medicaid and things like that. So it basically looks like he's seeing the light of day and understanding that Trump does not serve the interest that he thought he did. And I'm not saying this to trash Andrew Schulz, because I actually got invited to his studio a couple years ago and he was actually a very nice guy. But at what point are we going to keep giving people the pass like, oh, I didn't know? Because look, Andrew Schulz is a multi-millionaire, right? He's very successful. His guests, including people like Pe0ple, he is surrounded by educated people. The guests that he has on this podcast cover all spectrums of reality, right? So part of me just has a hard time believing that he didn't know that this is what Trump was running on. What do you mean you didn't know that he was going to cut Medicaid? He literally ran on that. Or even like ICE and stuff. Like, he said he was going to be doing all this crazy stuff. And I can't help but feel like it's kind of irresponsible, right? Because if you, with all your resources, you and your team of people that are actively vetting the people that come on your show, if you couldn't realize that this is what's going to happen, even though Trump telegraphed it to the world, why should he get brownie points for that, right? And again, like, I'm not trying to trash conservatives that are seeing the light of day. Like, I'm really not. But this narrative that these people didn't know is inaccurate.
Andrew Schulz is an idiot.
People that they'll DM me and be like, you see what your boy's doing? You voted for this. I'm like, I voted for none of this. He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for.
Yeah.
I want him to stop the wars. He's funding them. I want him to shrink spending, reduce the budget. He's increasing it. It's like everything that he said he's going to do, except sending immigrants back.
I've grown up with guys in New York just like Andrew. Presumably, they're great guys. They have multicultural friends. They're super educated on the cultures they grew up with because New York City. But deep down inside, they're still these white first conservative Republican racists. And so he voted for Donald Trump. And now he's saying, doing all the things I didn't vote for. You exactly voted for this. You quite literally voted for this. You voted against the rights of your daughter and your wife because you were a white man and you saw a white man saying, I'm going to promise you a white America. And why I can't stand Andrew, because I used to be a fan, because he is really fucking smart. And a part of his comedy that's funny is when he's smart. The podcast is when I started disliking him, because he talked about black women on his podcast and it was a wrap for me from then. Because you like to paint stereotypes of people in a way where it's funny sometimes, but in the other times I'm like, oh, there's a little racism in there. There's a little misogyny in there. And hey, it's his platform. He can say what he wants. But don't come on your platform after you had Trump on there and after you talked highly of Trump and say, I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for America to be what it is now. I didn't vote for a war. Yes, the fuck you did. Yes, the fuck you did. And these are the men and these are the whites in New York City that are wolves in sheep's clothing, because presumably, like I said, they grow up amongst all of us. They're friends with most of us. They, 2 or 3 of us go in their home and shit like that. But deep down inside, it will always be white first. So sorry, you don't get to be sad now that Trump is doing exactly what he said. Kick rocks.
Funniest part to me about Andrew Schulz being like, this isn't what I voted for, is that he does make one clarification, that he is getting one thing he voted for, and that is deportations. He wants to make it explicitly clear he did vote for the concentration camps. He does stand by that. But the rest of the stuff, he draws the line. He draws the line at the economy, at prices not going down. Concentration camps, he stands by. But his line is the economy. That, the fact he, made that distinction is insanity. You cannot make these people up. They are the scum of the earth.
Watching Andrew Schulz say he was supportive of Trump and that's not what he voted for. The only thing he voted for was the whole immigration thing, but not everything else. My whole thing is, y'all keep saying this shit, and I'm not believing it, because he ran on this shit. I don't even think he's ever said anything positive that he's wanted to do with this country. Of course, he said the like little shit like, oh, egg prices, gas prices, okay. But everything fucking else, everything he's doing now is not a surprise at all. And it's sad that someone like him, I'm not talking about the majority of his voters, because I don't think, like, but someone like him, you didn't think to Google to make sure what you were voting for was what you were voting for. You're a grown-ass man who has, you know, a presence online, who runs his whole brand, and you couldn't think to do those little simple things? And now you looking at us on a podcast in a room full of people talking about, yeah, this isn't what I wanted. This is not what I... Yes, it is what you wanted. That's exactly what you voted for. Fuck you mean? Now you're just seeing that, damn, this is going to affect me too. Fuck. You know? And you found out that, you know, it wasn't just going to hurt other people and everyone else was going to get the short end of the stick, that it was going to affect you too. Then it's like, damn, I shouldn't have did that. Yeah, you fuckface, you dummy. The fuck? I don't understand, like... And obviously, I probably could tell, I never liked him. I haven't liked him since my first time seeing the clip of Charlemagne in a room with black girls. And they said, the black girls were saying to Charlemagne, yeah, sometimes we don't like when we get into it with the black men we deal with, and they talk about our hair as if they don't have the same hair, as if their mamas don't got the same hair. Charlemagne responds and said, but don't y'all all have perms? What? What? Keep in mind, I mean, in my opinion, from the look of all those black women in the room, didn't look like any of them had perms. I guess Charlemagne has this, he must know about hair. But for that to be his response to them, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're a weird ass nigga. Like, you're weird. But what was even more baffling is Andrew Schulz was in the room. Not only did he start laughing from the depths of his soul, he had to get his devilish ass out of his seat, go up to the camera, and laugh even harder in a taunting way. Got under my skin so bad. What your white ass laughing at that hard? After these black women just share with you something that they experience in their community that they hate. Yeah, I'm off all that shit. Fuck everybody.
I just saw a clip of Andrew Schulz saying that this is not what he voted for. This isn't what you voted for? So what were you voting for? Because when everybody was telling y'all, this man is going to fuck this place up even more than it's already fucked up, y'all said, hey, no, that can't be true. When he was telling you that's what he was going to do, and when you saw how he handled this country during the middle of a pandemic, you thought, you know what, let's try this again. We're going to get a different result. And that's how I know you guys put your white supremacy over everything else, because how the fuck you thought that man was going to do anything different than what he did the first go round is, I don't know. It's a mystery to me.
I refuse to believe anybody that says, I didn't vote for this. Or even better, I didn't know he was going to do that. I wouldn't have voted for him if I knew this was going to happen. It was an open book test. There was so much information out there on social media, in the news, on television. This man came out and told you in writing, step by step, every single thing that he was going to try to accomplish. And coming out and now saying, oh, I'm not into politics, I never really was. Bullshit. That's even worse. The least you could do is stand on it. The amount of people we all watched openly with their massive platform push to vote for this guy, winning a ton of the young voters. And now you're going to be like, oh, I didn't vote for this though. No, you absolutely did. Everybody told you about it. You knew it was a possibility. You ignored all of them. And now you do not get to just say, I didn't vote for this. It's a cop-out. I actually think it's better if you just stand on it, admit that you voted for him, say you want this, because obviously you did.
If Andrew Schulz has one hater, it's me. If he has 100 haters, it's me 100 times. I really hate this man with my entire being, because he knew the role he played. He knows the role he played in getting Donald Trump elected. He is one of those manosphere podcasters. He hates black women, and he basically was saying that we should all support Donald Trump, etc. Trump is like masculine, that the Democrats aren't a masculine party, that they don't represent straight men, etc. About 85% of black men vote for Democrats every election. Like 85%. Sometimes it's 90%. So the fact that Andrew would fix his ugly face to say something like that is crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Like, Democrats, they're the party of unions, the party of diversity, etc. And the party has problems. I'll be the first one to say that. But for him to say all of that, and now he's like, Donald Trump didn't do what he said he was going to do. Donald Trump was never going to do that. He was never going to lower costs. He was never going to cut government spending. He was never going to end funding all of the wars, etc. A few months into the election, he was sending billions of dollars to these foreign nations. So the fact that we were telling him this, he was ignoring us, being willfully ignorant, and now he out here looking stupid. But we already knew he was stupid. We already knew that Andrew didn't have the range to talk about these topics. He's a random bum off the street. He's not intelligent enough to have these conversations.
Okay, so Andrew Schulz just realized Trump is not a good president. Surprise! He doesn't keep his word. Surprise! I don't know. I just think as like a comic, like you usually have like that sense of people that don't know what they're doing or they can't handle.
From this video, and all I can say is that you and I know that Andrew Schulz is lying, that he didn't know it would get to this point. The same way Candace Owen turned around to say, I never knew it would get to this point or something. You all knew. Now, let me break this down for you. When I tell you people that majority of the people that voted for this administration are racist, or if you are a black person and you voted for this also, your xenophobia is actually telling. Now, let me explain. Majority white people never knew that this administration was ever going to affect them. And if you look around in United States, the majority of the people in United States are white people. I am not saying black people, okay, but majority, you can tell that are white people. And there is no matter how they say black people are this, black people are that, and all that. I'm not saying black people are not on Medicaid or food stamp or this, that. Get where I am going to. If you check around, if you look around, you see that the majority people also that benefit from the food stamp are white people. But they will never believe, they will never accept that they benefit from Medicaid. They will never accept that they benefit from food stamp. They will never ever accept that. Right? Because it is always black people that need all those basic things, not them. I don't know who convinced them. I don't know who made them think like that. But this is what they think. Now, let me tell you about Project 2025, because some people act very dumb. Right? Project 2025, black people started screaming about Project 2025 in 2022. Not 2023. Election happened in 2024, right? In 2022, black people started screaming about Project 2025. I was still very young on YouTube, like I was like 2 years or 2 years thereabout, right? Or 1 year plus. So I already knew a lot to understand Project 2025. Which when they started screaming so much about it, I went into action to research. And then the paperwork was just coming out in bits by bits. It did not come out fully, right? But eventually, the whole 900 or 1,000 pages came out fully and people could scan to see what Project 2025 was all about. But in that 2022, black people started screaming, and immediately they started screaming. White people, some white content creators that also talk about politics also joined. They looked into it and joined, especially the ones that are very much not okay with Mr. Orange Man coming back into power, right? When they saw that, they were like, no, this can never be. Now, let me tell you something. For those that say we never knew, you must really be a great liar. I do not live in the United States. I only understand black history and American politics, because Andrew Schulz, who has been a comedian and also a well-known person, I checked, he is 41 years. Maybe this year he might be 42, thereabout, right? He is old enough to understand some certain things. Now, all of you knew. You all thought it was never going to start with you. You all thought it was never going to affect you. Now, let me tell you something. The worst thing that will happen to any human being is seeing someone in need or people that needed something, and you can give them that and you can provide that. And the fact that they never do anything they never hurt you or something, and you are also in a very good position to help them. But probably because you do not like them, or you do not like where they are from, for that reason, you are going to ignore them. You are a horrible person. I know it is your money, it is your thing and all that. But you see, this humanity, it goes a very long way. So for Andres to tell me he doesn't know, you knew. It is only whooping your house. It is only because you all are seeing the effect. That's why you are turning around. If you are looking, see, let me tell you something. Black people, I understand he has already been cancelled in black community and all that, which I absolutely appreciate. Let me tell you something about this kind of people. They voted for this man in secret, right? Because anyway, before then, we already knew people that will vote for Trump and people that will not vote for Trump. With everything they have done to people that look like me, they do, and other people of color, they do not deem it fit that there is someone that could do a better job than this man. They wanted him in office to finish what he started since 2016 or what year that he didn't finish. So Andrew Schulz, or Schulz, whatever your name is, you know what? Shove that in your, whatever you say, shove it in your butt. I don't care. You knew. Bye for now.